Hello everyone, this is our second reading for the day, and I wanted to look at if Kavanaugh is confirmed, because he hasn't been yet. And one thing that I've learnt with American politics is that, you know, it can be a battle, literally a battle right up to the last minute when John McCain turned his thumb down and went into the history books and created an absolutely wonderful legacy that crossed party lines and created so much respect that crossed party lines. So, look, it's not over yet. If by some reason it goes the way that it is looking, that he would be confirmed, that no bombshells are dropped, that no senators change the way they've indicated they're voting. If he does cross that line, Kavanaugh crosses the line, we know he already has. In his hearing, he crossed the line for a potential SCOTUS. And don't forget, the American Bar Association has reopened their file on him in light of his temperament, the temperament that he displayed. Nobody's actually starting to look at, if he does get through, what that actually means for the Supreme Court. So in major cases, can he not then hear any cases involving sexual assault because of the perceived biases? Can he not hear any cases that involve Democrats bringing, at the state level, bringing anything before the Supreme Court because of the partisan bias he's already displayed? What does that mean? We've had a previous Supreme Court justice come out and say that he will be a part-time SCOTUS because he'll be ruled out from sitting and judging on so many cases. So it's not over yet, okay? Now, what it means for the midterms, because, I really do think, destiny is at play in a lot of this. Destiny is at play in Kavanaugh, which is why I read so often on him. Destiny is at play in some of those critical seats, and I'm going to look. I've had requests to look further at certain seats, and I will. And I absolutely am honoured that people have asked me to do that. So I'm not going to look at them all, but people have asked for certain seats to be looked at, and I will. Now back to Kavanaugh. Thank you, everyone, for your feedback and your wonderful, kind comments. I'm hoping that you enjoy the channel, because I certainly do. Now, as much as I enjoy tarot and mediumship, the freedom to be who I am. So, allegations against Kavanaugh. I've looked at a Vox Election Research Centre. What they did was they did two things. They looked at the Kavanaugh, whether the vote, if the allegations against Kavanaugh are true, well, that's the caveat, because he's innocent until proven guilty. And, this is why I always say alleged, and I try not to lay the proverbial boot in as much as I can. I try not to, because these three monkeys are see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. And while I'm human and I fail sometimes, it is a goal that I try and uphold. So, if the allegations against Kavanaugh are true, would that be enough of a reason for the Senate to reject his nomination? Now, what Vox did is they went out to the people and they asked. Now, 71% of men said if the allegations were true, that would be enough for the Senate to reject his nomination. 68% said that of women also said the Senate should reject his nomination. Now, that's the majority. And what's really heartening here, because, I got triggered too, along with other women, the men, 71%, have said that if the allegations are true, the Senate should reject his nomination. The women, 68% of women, have said if the allegations are true, then his nomination should be rejected. Of that, 90% of Democrats, 90%, so the vast majority of Democrats said reject his nomination. That's not unexpected. Independent voters, which are the swing voters that can go either way, 68% of independent voters said, if the allegations are true, reject his nomination. 48% of Republicans, not even 50% of Republicans, have said if the allegations are true, then the Senate should reject his nomination. So what I'm saying there is that 52% of Republicans said if the allegations against Kavanaugh are true, then that would not be enough reason for the Senate to reject his nomination. So it's kind of line ball really, isn't it? 48% said yes, reject if they're true, 52% no, of Republicans. So, okay, so those that voted for Clinton in this survey were 92%. Now, this is where I find it really interesting. 92% voted for Clinton, 44% voted for Trump, and 72% didn't vote. So there's your survey sample, right? 72% of people didn't vote in this survey. So what I can see there is that this situation, before I even cast a tarot, which of course is the Knight of Wands coming forward with new projects. I'll just shut that down. 72% didn't vote, and most people say if the allegations are true, most people, the majority of people, say he shouldn't be confirmed. Now, what that means is if they go ahead and confirm him with an incomplete FBI investigation in the circumstances where we had Judicial Committee ringing up potential witnesses and suggesting they've been mistaken, etc., etc. What does that mean for the midterms? What that means for the midterms is that it's going to mobilise people. It's going to mobilise people out to vote, and it's going to fall, and this is what I really think is interesting, it's going to mobilise the people, the 72, it has the potential to mobilise the 72% of people that didn't vote, okay, within this survey sample, okay? So it's not, you've got to remember that they don't survey every American, they're only surveying a sample. So that's bearing in mind. I thought that might give people a bit of a cause to look up and go, it's going to be okay, one way or another it'll be okay. So let's have a look. If Kavanaugh gets in, I'll just get rid of that. Okay, so if Kavanaugh, I did that because I've got some clearing essences in the oil burner. So if Kavanaugh is confirmed to the Supreme Court, how will that influence the midterms? What does that mean for the midterms? We're going to get more protests and more of the environment that we had when Donald Trump was elected. This is like for the second time, once, twice, out. Okay, what does it mean? If Kavanaugh is confirmed, what does that mean? Yeah, okay, I just saw the image of a bull and it's like, charge! Okay. Right, the present situation. Okay, so that's to do with money, the Nine of Pentacles. And this is luxury, and so that's the present situation. Those people, the moneyed, if you like, are sitting fairly pretty. Yeah, it's all about luxury and yeah. Okay, this is not for the good of the people. That's what my intuition is reading when I read that card. Okay, the challenges, the Page of Wands here. Now, this is an interesting card because I read it as innocence, you know, that this is new ideas. This is the challenge for them. So that we talked about that in the Susan Collins reading previously. This kind of wanting to move forward with new ideas, you know, almost in a new way, in a fresh way. That's going to be challenging for the money, the people that are sitting pretty with the money. That's going to be their challenge. And the focus of the situations, bullies, thefts, violence, abuse, that's the Five of Swords, okay? This guy here is the bully, and he's taken the swords. And he's taken the swords away from that person there who's moving off. So this is bullies and theft. So it would seem to me that so far this is describing the process of the Supreme Court Kavanaugh nomination. And that's the focus of the situation. How will it affect the midterms? Okay, people will be protesting against that theft, what they see as a theft, and a bullying and abuse. So the past, judgment. Okay, so people were already judging. People will be judging them by the time we get to the midterms. They are judging them now. They have judged them in the past. They're going to be continuing to judge them by the time we get to the midterms. Okay, so what's the strength of this situation? Now, this is interesting. I've got to say this. What is the strength of the situation is people are feeling like they've been abandoned, okay? Abandoned and disappointed. They are turning their back and they are walking away from this government. So they've been disappointed and they feel like they have been abandoned, okay? That's actually going to be a strength. That's what I was saying when I don't know if in this reading or the previous reading, we've got a long way to go yet before things are done. So what's going to be in the future? You guessed it, celebrations, okay? Circles of support, people coming together and celebrations. So I won't go any further than that to say that this reading is telling me that this theft and bullying has galvanised the electorate. Here's the electorate. And that judgment will be brought to bear. I'm kind of liking these cards. The strength of the situation is the actual disappointment and abandonment that people are feeling now, even though you think of that as a negative. That currently is what's going to motivate people, and of course there is celebrations in the future. Now we didn't ask about tomorrow's vote. I don't really want to pull more cards because I've done enough. But I kind of think, well, if we want a three-card vote, let's three-card vote. So that's as it relates to the midterms, okay? At this present time, it's galvanising people to go out and vote. That's 72%, and those men as well as 71% of them, and all of those percentages we went through. That's what it's doing at the moment. It's galvanising the vote. I wonder if Republicans are aware that that's what it's doing, but that's what it's doing. Let's see quickly Saturday's vote. All right. Okay. Saturday's vote. How are the Republicans that may vote for Kavanaugh, that may not vote for Kavanaugh, other than Murkowski? The ones that have said how and Manchin as well. Okay, why don't we just ask, is Kavanaugh going to get through the vote on Saturday and be confirmed? Is Kavanaugh going to be confirmed? Kavanaugh going to be confirmed. Judgment. That's interesting. Okay, so that's in the past. Or that could be our signifier card as well. We'll just keep going. Okay, the Hermit, which is retreat. And, you know, kind of going within to try and get clarity. The Queen of Pentacles. Well, that's resourceful women. But it is also to do with money. It's not really clear from this reading, other than that there's really heavy judgment on this situation, and that it's isolating. It's going to isolate Kavanaugh. But that we've also got lots of resourceful women coming into this. Let's just pull another card. The High Priestess. Well, that's, you know, secrets coming forward. Mysteries. Trusting yourself. Trusting yourself, and mysteries being uncovered. Okay, the Empress again. Look at all these women. Gosh, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't really say. I mean, all these women are here, these resourceful women, these women that are using their intuition, these women who, you know, are the mothers. I mean, that's the motherhood card, and everything that motherhood, or the mothers, or everything that the feminine represents, it seems to be on the line, and it seems to be this situation here for Kavanaugh, the Hermit. Well, the Hermit, as I said, is being isolated and almost doing it to yourself, you know, having to take time out because you need to reflect and try and process what has been a judgment call on you. Okay. You know, I'd want to say that he won't be confirmed. That's what I want to say. These cards would indicate that he may not because of this judgment. But, you know, because we've got these women and we've got this Hermit Kavanaugh, I mean, this is Kavanaugh here, there's certainly disappointment. So if he is confirmed, it's a hollow victory for him. And this is what he faces, and this is what those that confirm him, if they do, this is what they face, the power of these cards. Very interesting. But there's definitely the judgment coming up. The judgment, people are judging him. So look, I always saw that that he wouldn't, but well, I saw that there would be a suspension and a delay. Yeah. Okay. Look, that's as far as I'll go with it. I mean, gosh, people will be getting sick of me asking that. But anyway, that's it. Certainly, going back to the midterms, if he goes through, this will galvanise the electorate. This will bring them out in droves, all those people who didn't vote, and the Democrats, you know, and, you know, those independents that have, you know, that see this is actually quite wrong, you know, with not a proper FBI investigation. So how can we determine anything? It's going to galvanise people, really. So that's probably what, if you're going to take anything away from this reading now, if he is confirmed, and it's not over yet, if he is, it's going to galvanise the electorate. Okay, I'm Revealing Light Tarot, and that was my reading on how Kavanaugh might impact on the midterms. Thank you.